And welcome everybody to the first ever Basement Grown Fun Guys podcast. My name is John,
I'm Tony.
and tonight we're going to
That's
talk.
it.
And tonight we're going to talk about our last couple concerts we've been to, um, couple albums that we've listened to this year that we're big fans of, and some upcoming stuff that is in the pipeline for next week and future podcasts that we will do.
Fun times. So, I guess we should start off by saying what concerts we went and saw. First one was a Slipknot Roadshow. That was pretty great. The bands there. Behemoth was the opening act, followed by Gojira, and then Volbeat, and then Slipknot. And then the second concert, which we just saw yesterday, was Iron Maiden, and the Raven Age was opening for them.
Yeah.
Pretty sure the only reason that they opened for them is because one of their guitarists is the bassist of Iron Maiden's son. Even so, they were pretty solid.
Yeah.
But I guess going in chronological order, we can talk about Slipknot first, even though I really want to talk about Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's go ahead and get Slipknot out of the way, and let's leave the best for last. Um,
All right,
so
sounds good.
yeah, so Slipknot concert last, and both of these were in Noblesville, Indiana. So Slipknot was last Friday, and then or the 20 or no, the 16th, and Iron Maiden was last night, the 24th, and so yeah, Behemoth led out, or was the opener, and they, as always, were fantastic. Um, I know you didn't get to hear every song you wanted, but
No, that's all right though. It's my second time seeing them live, and both times were pretty fucking solid. But I mean, to that point, I just wish that there was more of them. I wish that I could see them and they're not an opening act, because whenever you have an opening act, most of the people there aren't there to see them. You get like a few people. You can see them
mm,
walking around wearing the Behemoth t-shirts, looking like, very spooky looking, right?
yeah,
You know who's there to see who based on what they're wearing. Like that game we played when we went and saw Marilyn Manson open for Smashing Pumpkins, right?
hmm,
Who's he there for? Oh, that guy. He looks pretty terrifying. He's probably here for Marilyn Manson. Oh, hey,
hmm,
that guy looks like an accountant. He's probably here for Smashing Pumpkins.
yeah. Well, actually, talking about Behemoth and not having a lot of, I don't know, like fan base there, and like most people that are going to that concert came for Slipknot. The thing that kind of bums me out is going to those concerts, and I wish people, like, people who bought tickets would actually show up for all the bands that they paid for.
Hmm.
So, because that helps out the show a lot. When you have the full crowd there and the full crowd supporting a band, even though you might not necessarily like them, or, they might not be a band you really know or you're very familiar with, which that for me was the Raven Age, but I was still supporting them. I was still kind of clapping when, still getting involved in their set. But, I wish, like, having people there, having more there helps out a lot. And so
Absolutely.
when we went for Behemoth, and actually most of the night, like, it didn't get full until Slipknot went on.
Yeah. I just think, you pay for the ticket, you should at least check out the, because what's gonna happen? You hear a band that you're not totally into, whatever. I mean, it's a song. It's just sound, right? Just deal with it for a little bit,
Hmm.
you might be pleasantly surprised, right? Like
Yeah.
we were at the Maiden concert with the Raven Age, right? Before we went into the concert, we listened to a couple of their songs. They were okay, right? And then when they're actually performing on stage, it's like, wow, these guys have a really great energy about them. Like they can actually put on a decent show. I'm really glad I didn't skip out on this part of the show just because I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much, which I think is a great way to find new bands that you might not have necessarily enjoyed otherwise, Like Volbeat at the Slipknot concert, a lot of people kind of skedaddled for Volbeat because, let's be honest, it's kind of a weird pairing with bands like Behemoth and Gojira and Fuck fucking Slipknot. And then you have Volbeat. Yeah. You have that band thrown in the mix, right? As the second, like they go on right before Slipknot, so they have the longest set besides Slipknot. A lot of
Hmm.
people are like, "Why the fuck am I here to hear Johnny Cash and Elvis's redheaded stepchild?" Right?
Yeah.
But they're fun. They have lots of crowd interaction. They don't take themselves seriously, which is really important for a band that's that cheesy, right?
Hmm.
They're super fun and enjoyable guys to listen to. So I like Volbeat a lot more now after that concert. So I'm glad that I stuck around to see Volbeat play, you know?
Yeah.
I'm
Um.
happy that I was there for that.
Yeah. And I got a lot more respect for Volbeat. Now I liked Volbeat before. I like I have a couple albums by them, but seeing them live, just kind of cemented my me have like my liking for them. And they put on a really good show, and they actually do sound. I think they sound quite a bit heavier in person.
But I agree.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of the same thing for the Raven Age on with the Iron Maiden opener. And I don't want to. I kind of want to stop, jumping between concerts just to, so we stay the one. But it's kind of there are some parallels there where the Raven Age we saw like we listened to some of the songs and they just like they sound a little generic and a little light for my taste. But then when we saw them live, they were pretty heavy. They were pretty good. I was pretty happy with it.
I think it's because the bass comes through more when you see them live, right? Because when you listen to like a YouTube video of the song, right, you don't have the same equalization that you do at a concert, right? You don't have the
Hmm.
same like the actual physical presence of the bass drums and the bassist and the chonky guitars, right? You can feel that, right? Because it's loud. You feel it in your chest, right? So it feels a lot more chonky than it might listening to it, quietly over your car speakers, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think metal is best listened to really freaking loud, and I think concerts get that across really well. So some bands that might sound on the recording of it, when you hear them loud and in person, it's like, okay, this band might actually have something going for them.
Hmm. I concur. So then, so Behemoth, and I think they did a good job. I'm not a big fan of Behemoth. I really do want to get into them more, but they did a really good job. And then, so they opened, and then the next band up was Gojira, which I was super excited to see. I've gotten into them over the last year. Um, and seeing them live was pretty awesome. Um, you know, getting to see their show and the like, they did a lot of lighting work.
Mm,
They had some like really cool light fixtures going and like having like, light display and whatever. That was really cool. And I really love their set. I think they played a lot of good songs. I wish there was more. I wish they would have played more, had more time, but um I think the
at
biggest
least
thing
we saw the whales.
yeah, we saw the whales uh coming out of the dark.
It was pretty
Uh,
good.
yeah. And I was really happy they ended on Gift of Guilt. Um, one of my really fun, one of I really like that song. I wouldn't say I'd say it's probably top 10, but I was about to say top 5, but then I'm thinking about it, maybe not, but top 10. Flying Whales is definitely top 5. Um, and yeah,
Yeah.
they played a good chunk of a couple songs off of Magma, which is their like latest
Mm.
album. That was good. Stranded, Silvera, Cell.
As a brief aside, though, I think it's nice that it seems like a lot of bands looking at their set list for the last couple of years or so aren't just playing their new stuff when they go on tour, right? Because
Mm,
obviously bands, they go on tour with their new material, they throw their songs in the mix. But it seemed like for a while that bands, when they would go on tour, they would refuse to play their old stuff and only stick to like, this is our new album that we're really trying to
yeah.
push, right? It seems like most of the set lists that I see of bands that are performing, like even ones that I haven't actually seen perform this year,
Hmm.
it seems like they're playing a lot of their older stuff as well. And I think that was a trend that we noticed in these two concerts. It wasn't just their new stuff that they played. It was a mix of a lot of good stuff that they, you know, historically was like the big hits, those bands. I like hearing the big hits. I know the bands can get tired of performing them occasionally,
Mhm.
but the crowd interaction when everyone knows the song is really really something else, because you can go
Right.
to see a concert of a band that you like without necessarily having heard their latest album yet. So it helps when you can sing along,
Yeah.
and it helps when 5,000 people in unison are chanting a song together. I think it adds to the song's energy, even if it's something you've heard a million times before, you know?
Yeah, 100% agree. Which again, like I said, I don't want to keep hopping between the two concerts. Just want to stick to one. But the Iron Maiden one, the whole entire thing is about the legacy of the Beast, and it's all about the old songs. It's all about like, their first half of their catalog. So that's really cool to hear and see because I want to hear the originals. I want to hear the um Number of the Beast. I want to hear Run the Hills, Hallowed Be Thy Name, which is
Yeah.
they all played, so that's great. Fear of the Dark. You know, there's a couple I didn't get to hear, of course, because again, they can only play so much, but it was we'll get to them later. But so Gojira was great.
Full
Um
beat.
Volbeat was good.
Shibbity
Um
hobbity hobbity how. Shibbity hobbity hobbity how.
one of the one of the cool things they did was they actually played a little bit of Johnny Cash, which I know you made the joke that it's the Johnny Cash Elvis stepchild, whatever. But they
Well,
did,
we know where they came from.
they did actually. Are you sure? Because they're
We know their
Danish.
influences.
They're Danish, but
Yeah,
yet
but the
they're
reason he sings like he does is because he loves like American country music, like Elvis. Like, well, Elvis isn't necessarily country. He really
yeah,
likes Elvis. He grew up listening to Elvis, right? And he really likes people like Johnny Cash and old school outlaw country, right? So it
yeah,
comes through thematically in a lot of the band songs, but also in like their music style. It's definitely got that down home flair, I guess you could call it.
yeah. Fair enough.
He knows
So,
he knows his influences, and he knows how to pander to an audience that likes him, because audiences that really like Volbeat generally have a lot of respect for the late great legend Johnny Cash.
hmm
So I mean,
I do like some. I like Johnny. I like him a
it's
little bit.
really jarring hearing the singer from Volbeat, because he is Danish, speak to us in between sets, because his speaking voice has a very strong Danish accent, but his singing voice does not.
Yeah.
So in
Uh,
between songs, he's like, "Wow, it's great to see you guys out here today. Very nice. Would you guys like to hear another one? All right, here it goes. Little fire in here." Like
uh, yeah,
just
but
goes
it's
back
kind of
and
like
forth.
listen, like kind of like Ozzy. You know, you can't understand him when he speaks. Like it's complete gibberish when he speaks, but then when you actually hear him sing, it's like complete perfect English. You know.
Uh,
Um. But yeah, so they sang actually a little bit of Ring of Fire from from Johnny Cash.
yeah.
They started playing actually. Oh, so Slayer. We went and saw Slayer couple last year, but they actually started playing Raining Blood, like a little teaser intro. They didn't actually play too. They played very little of it, just to kind of
Yeah,
tease
Volbeat
the
played it to
crowd.
screw with us. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, you wish we would, wouldn't you? But we won't.
yeah. So that was good. That was fun.
Yeah.
Else, all right. So yeah, Volbeat was good. They played a couple of their hits. Warriors Code, Still Counting. Crap. What else did they play? Been a week already. I can't remember.
They played all their big hits. I mean, they played Lola Montez, right? They played what was the one with the dude? I can't even remember. Yeah, if you've heard
Yeah,
Volbeat before, you know the songs that they would play. They
yeah,
played their big hits. They didn't try to branch out and do anything too radical or test any new music on us. But it was overall a really solid, fun performance. they don't take themselves too seriously, which I think can be a band's big downfall when they get on the stage.
Yeah.
Um, like one of the other bands that we love going to go see whenever they're around, Sabaton, right?
Mhm.
They don't take themselves seriously at all, right?
No.
They have a great time when they're up on stage, which helps because their band is a little bit cheesy, right? Like once you get into it, you start to ignore the cheese a little bit, but if you're not used to the music, it definitely smells like cheddar. So when you don't take yourself seriously, it helps people get a lot more into the music. Like when we saw Sabaton and then Trivium, right, at that one concert,
Mhm.
um, Sabaton sucked the crowd's energy dry because they were so energetic and interactive and powerful to the point where Trivium, when they got on stage, they were people were tired and kind of bored because
Yeah.
however good Trivium is, and don't get me wrong, I love the band, I love Matt Heafy, right? He's a cool guy.
Mhm.
When you have to ask multiple times between songs, are you guys tired? The answer is probably yeah, we're kind of tired because
Yeah.
they took themselves so seriously, right? Like it was very grimdark and very edgy, you know, because they
Yeah.
didn't want to laugh in between songs or even
Yeah.
during performances, right?
And I
So
think
nobody wanted to laugh with them. They were just kind of like, oof, this is a different energy than Sabaton, and I was having fun.
yeah. And I think like it was uh hold on, every in between every song he was saying like I want your head shaking, body moving, ass shaking, whatever, and it's just like and he said that between every single song. I'm like, bro, we get it.
We get it, man.
We're doing that.
Like, if the music is great, we're gonna do that without you prompting us.
Yeah.
You don't have to keep prompting us to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, Trivium, I'm headbanging the whole entire time. That's I'm going crazy the
Yeah.
whole entire time.
I mean, they did great when they played Roll Rada Rings Rada. That was a good song. Roll Rada.
Mhm.
This is pull harder on the strings of your martyr for those of you uninitiated. But this is what it sounds like
Yeah.
when he's singing live. That's a very good song, and it's just they took themselves too seriously. And I
Mhm.
think Volbeat during the Slipknot concert did the exact opposite. I think that really, really helps a band's live performance because it gets the crowd into it, and the crowd can make or break the goddamn performance, so heavily. And
Yeah.
when you got a good crowd backing you, it could be the worst band in the world, but if the crowd's really feeling it, all of a sudden it just elevates them to that next level. That's
Mhm.
why it sucks that nobody wanted to be there for Behemoth, because if you got a
Yeah.
crowd that's really into it, then the music gets that much better because, you feel the energy of the people around you who are all there to see the same band and they're all super excited about it. That's why I like seeing like individual bands play, or maybe one or two bands that are very, very similar and have a lot of overlap in their fan base.
Mhm.
I think that that's nice.
Yeah.
Slipknot, though, they put on a really good show to get to the final band of that concert. They did really, really well.
Yeah.
They were fun and they were energetic and they played a lot of really good songs on their set list. A few from the new album. The one song off their new album they didn't play because they played Solway Firth, they played Unsainted, they played All Out Life, which is only on the album in the Japanese version, but still it's one of their new songs. All
Mhm.
Life's really good. They also played Spiders, which I thought was an interesting choice.
Yeah.
They did not play Nero Forte, which it's just disappointing to me. I wish they
Mhm.
had swapped out Spiders and played Nero Forte in that slot instead. But you can't get everything that you want.
Yeah.
Because they open with People Equal Shit, which was a really powerful opener. I think that's a really good opening song, right?
Mhm.
They played the big crowd pleasers like the Heretic Anthem, and they played Before I Forget and Duality, right? Which is like the biggest Slipknot songs, that people know, right?
Mhm.
And it all just led to being like nonstop, back to back, like bang, 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 really good songs over and over again. It's a very tightly curated set list, I
Yeah.
feel. Do you have
Um,
anything you want to add, Slipknot?
yeah, no, I think it was a great set list. Yeah, I was a little bummed they didn't do Nero Forte because I think that one would have been quite a bit better to play. I think because that one's a little bit better song, and I think a little bit probably more people would have known that one because I think that one's probably a little bit more popular off the album instead of
Yeah.
Spiders. I mean, Spiders is a good not. I don't. Yeah, I'm not saying anything against Spiders, but I think no one really cared about Spiders.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an in between track,
Yeah.
I think it let Corey Taylor get his breath.
Mhm. Um.
I'm pleased that they played Custer.
Yes,
I liked Custer. It's one
I
of
do
my
too.
favorites of their newer music. I really like
Yeah.
Custer.
I mean,
I
it's.
wish they played some more off of Iowa, but I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah. I mean,
you can't get everything.
yeah. And Custer is kind of like Heretic Anthem 2.0.
Yeah,
Really. But I mean, it's a good song. I like it. It's fun. It's definitely a fun song that listen to and be a part of. What else? Um,
I like the encore. Um, because come on, every band does an encore, right?
mhm.
I mean, back in the
Yeah.
day, they would only do encores if people really, really were cheering for the band and wanted them to come back out there. It's like, okay, I guess we will. But now it's like kind of like a tease where it's like every band does an encore, so you just kind of know it's coming. It doesn't really matter, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's like as soon as the band's like, "Thank you, good night," and then a few people start shuffling down to leave, and you're just like, "Where the fuck are you going?" Is this the first time you've ever seen like a band perform live? They're gonna be back out again, man. You're gonna miss like at least two or three songs.
Mhm.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done spit it out yet. Get back here.
And I mean, as far as Slipknot concert goes, like the best part of Slipknot concert is spit it out, and the
Yeah.
jump the fuck up part.
If you've never been to a Slipknot concert, Corey Taylor will ask you via show of hands who has been to one before. And if you have not, you are in for a delightful treat because when he gets to that part in Spit It Out where he's like, fuck me, I'm all out of enemies, right? Before he gets into that, he tells everybody to squat down. And everybody except for a few shirtless drunk guys will. Because if they tried to squat down, they'd probably fall over. So I think he gives them a little bit of slack for that.
Mhm.
Everybody gets on the ground. And this was a packed amphitheater, right? You
Yeah.
couldn't fit any more people in there, right? Shoulder to shoulder. And all those people get down on the ground. And then Corey Taylor starts up and he's like, jump the fuck up. And then everybody, like all 5,000 people, just up into the sky. They jump up and go crazy ape shit. It's great.
Yeah.
It's good shit.
Yeah, no, it was great. And I've, I think I've been a part of that for 3 times now. And what's funny was, I think like the last couple times, everyone about around me, kind of knew what was going on. But this time, there's like a family sitting in front of us, like two adults and a kid. And he's probably a teenager, 13, 14 maybe. And it looked like he knew what he's doing because it looked like he knew a couple, like he's seen Slipknot before. But the parents are like, what's going on? Like, and everyone's getting down around him, and they're like, "Oh, okay, what are we doing here?" And then they just actually sit down in their seats where I'm crouching in between the seats, like
Yeah, because
let's
we know we're
go.
about to jump the fuck up.
Yeah, and I
Can't
mean,
jump the fuck up from a seated position. You have to be squatting.
yeah, yeah, that was a good time, fun.
Yeah,
Um,
that was a good one.
yeah.
Getting out of that place though, that was a hell of a
Oh god,
handout, man.
Yeah,
Just to remind you of how painful that was.
I don't want to remember.
It
So
took us probably about an hour and a half to get out of there. It
we
was pretty
were
bad.
we were sitting in that parking lot after the show was over for an hour to get out
To
of the
get, yeah,
get out of the venue.
it was pretty bad. There were people just cutting in and out of each other. There were people stealing spots and cutting in line. Drunk people stumbling between cars. It was just chaos. And I just keep reminding myself, it's like, didn't Corey Taylor just tell us we were all a family in this brotherhood of metal not like an hour ago? And now that we're all in our cars, all bets are off. Fuck
Hmm.
you. I don't know you and I hate you.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're trying to get in line in front of me and it's going to cost me maybe 2 or 3 seconds, I'm willing to go to war for this. I'm going to kill you if you take my spot in the line. I'm going to get out of my car and start slamming on your hood because you decided to go when it was your turn.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Well, yeah, we definitely had some. We had it was getting a little rowdy out in the parking lot. Um, there was some funny. I was joking around with a guy that was trying to get in. And I'm like, I'll be nice. I'm not gonna whatever. But I was kind of staring him down, like, what you think you're doing? And then I was just laughing at him. It was funny.
He held a dead straight, dead serious stare with this guy who was trying to get in front of him for a good like 30 seconds. And this guy was like freaking out, like, is this dude with giant hair gonna jump out of his car and beat the shit out of me for trying to take my spot in line?
Yeah.
And then John just started cracking up laughing, and they're like, "Oh Jesus Christ!"
Yeah, and then they just I was like, yeah, I would just wave them on like and they asked me like, are you gonna let us go? I was like, yeah, I'm just joking around with you.
You're a
Uh,
sweetheart.
yeah, they did call me a sweetheart. Um which was fine. Yeah, it was a good time. Good time.
Yep. And then we went and got Waffle House as is tradition.
Yep. Good old Waffle House.
Now,
Uh
let us know in the comments down below the proper way
oh
to eat an All
goodness.
Star.
All
Do you
right.
get your eggs scrambled? Do you get them over easy? Because John has a method. Let him describe his method
I
here.
want okay, I want to tell you guys the correct way to eat Waffle House. Um you get your all star. You gotta go with the all star. Unless you don't need that much food, and then you can go with the cheesesteak. Which is why I went with for the Iron Maiden concert. But so you go there, you order your all star. So you get your waffle, and then you get your hash browns covered with cheese. Now the thing is, if you want some more stuff on your hash browns, that's fine. But then what you do is you order sausage patties, toast, white toast, wheat toast, doesn't matter, whatever you prefer. Sausage patties. Oh, sorry, I already said that. And then over easy eggs. And then what you do is you break the yolks in the hash browns, get a little fluids going, get a little taste and get a little extra to it. And then you put the eggs and the sausage on the toast and you make a sandwich with it. So you got two sandwiches, hash browns with yolk, and a waffle for like $8.
I think it's better to order the eggs scrambled to keep the yolk intact because it makes for a cleaner sandwich. I order my hash browns with gravy, which I feel like is the best way to do it, right? You might feel differently, right? But you just make the sandwich out of bacon, eggs, and the bread, right? And then you eat the hash browns and gravy as a separate thing. I feel like breaking the yolk into it just makes it all messy. And that's a really controversial opinion I found, actually. It's like, what do you mean you're not getting your eggs over easy?
Mm-hmm.
You freaking idiot. What are
Yeah.
you, dumb? Have you never eaten breakfast before? Scrambled eggs, what are you, 12?
Now,
Get your eggs over easy like a real man.
what I will also accept is if you go over medium or like medium or hard and like you don't really like the yolk and then still put the over easy or not over easy, but you put the egg on the sandwich. But whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's the short of it.
You can always
So
tell how good your food is going to be at Waffle House, proportionate to how little your server cares about wanting to serve you.
yeah.
Like if she's real excited and happy to see you, probably means she hasn't had very many customers, so all the food's gonna be kind of old, nasty. But if she's like, "Get the fuck out of here! Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? You're inconveniencing me by coming here. What do you want?" That's when you
Mm-hmm.
know the food's gonna be good as hell. That's the secret to Popeyes, I think. I think it's because Popeyes hates you, and that hate gets transferred into their chicken, and that's what makes it so tasty.
You say
All things
so.
aside, though,
Chick.
let's talk about the Maiden concert because
All
that's what
right.
we really want to talk about, right?
And how is the best concert we've ever been to? And go.
Oh, well, that's it right there.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's been this episode of
Yeah.
Nah,
No.
nah, but for real, that was a hella good concert. There's something to be said for a band that can use money and time to polish their act to the utmost peak perfection over the entirety of their long and storied career, right? Because that's the entire theme of this concert, right? Was the whole, you know, throughout time, Iron Maiden growing and transforming all the albums that they come out with, all the songs that they put out, right? So it crosses a wide history of Iron Maiden songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they put it together in such a carefully curated and amazing show full of theatrics, a flying plane, right? An actual flying plane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fireworks, many different outfits and shenanigans jumping around on stage. These guys, I swear to God, they could be my grandparents, but they have the energy of like a 20-year-old on crack, right? They're just they're going crazy on there, and you can feel it because every single person there, right? They're there to see Iron fucking Maiden because they were basically the only band performing. I mean, we had the opening act, but nobody was there to see the Raven Age. I mean, come on. I didn't even know who they were till we came on there. And like I said, with nepotism, right? The only reason they got the opening act was so that because the guitarist is a bassist kid from Iron Maiden, but they were still solid. They were like a good palate cleanser. I remember saying at the concert, like the Raven's Age is kind of like that pickled ginger that you get with your sushi, right? It doesn't taste great. It doesn't taste terrible, but it's okay, and it makes the next piece of sushi that much better, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a palate cleanser. It's a good opening band because it got you used to the loud music. It got you, your heart pumping a little bit. You're all ready for it. And then Iron Maiden comes out, and it's awesome. Now, I wouldn't consider myself a Maiden fanatic, right? Most of my music choices don't tend to fall into the more classic side of heavy metal. Like I have a lot of great respect for the old greats of heavy metal: Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Dio, right? All those guys. I have a lot of respect for them, but they're not who I listen to more often than not. Usually I gravitate towards newer bands, maybe bands that started in the 90s, peaked in the 2000s, right? But seeing one of those greats live lets you understand exactly why they took the nation by storm and defined the genre from decades to come, right? Like all these bands, you start to understand why people call it as like, well, their guitar work's just a blatant Maiden ripoff, and you're just like, no, they're not. They're original. I was like, no, no, they're a Maiden ripoff because there's no way they can even hold a candle to these fucking guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So good,
Now,
so amazing.
I wanna make sure people understand this fact. Is we might make it sound like we're like overdoing it, like how awesome this was. There's no way to fully describe how amazing this concert was. Like, I've been to several concerts now, seen a lot of big bands. Like Slipknot is up there, Sabaton is up there as far as like show and like just
Quality of
co-
performance,
yeah.
right?
Iron Maiden took it to a whole never another level, like to the point where like I was actually in awe, like I had a holy shit look at this moment when you see this whole entire amphitheater, just this thousands of people sitting there and then singing the intro to a song, like singing a guitar part, like in Fear of the Dark, and them just doing like following the melody and just like singing the whole entire song. And then every time he's like, Indiana, and then everyone chimes in with their part. And like
Yeah,
everyone knows
Indiana.
what they're doing. Everyone's a part of this. And like, you know, it's it's like you don't really think about the magnitude of it until you're there and you're a part of it and how amazing it actually is and how huge of a thing this actually is. Like, you know, I think you brought up a good point on the way home. Like, you know, look at where we're like, look at this kind of history we're a part of. Look at what we're able to create. What this band, this human band, was able to create because they've been able to bring thousands and thousands of people together for a single purpose and
Yep,
do it so well and so perfect. It's just
exactly.
amazing.
They just take the tools that they are given, right? And through own sheer force of will, they take their ideas and their creativity and they create literal magic with it, right? They make a song that is so good. The sounds that they make are so good and so pleasing to listen to for so many different people that it draws people from all different walks of life, right? We
Hmm.
see people walking into this amphitheater. You got white people, black people, Hispanic, young, old, men, women, disabled, non-disabled, like all these different kinds of people coming in here with one singular purpose of Iron fucking Maiden. Like you meet people, right? And you don't know this guy. You would never talk to this guy if you saw him on the street. But because you're both wearing an Iron fucking Maiden t-shirt, right? All of a sudden it's like, oh, you
Hmm.
know, you've heard of the sound. It's like I have heard the sound. Our childhoods are connected because we both grew up listening to the same band, right? Even though you're a baby boomer and I'm a millennial, right?
Hmm.
We still listen to the same music growing up. We had that same experience, right? Of you 14 years old sitting in your room listening to your first Iron Maiden CD, right?
Hmm.
Is the same as hearing it on the radio or your friend's Walkman or some shit, right? Y'all had that same experience, that same first moment that led you to eventually seeing the people who created it live and understanding the big, big difference that it makes to hear those people make that music live. Like, I hate lip syncing, right, with a passion
Hmm.
because I feel like it takes away from the genuine human experience of actually playing music for an audience, right?
Yeah.
Like you are making this happen with your hands. You didn't record it and then perfect it, right, with digital tools, right, to achieve the algorithm of the best sound you could make, right? You're just doing it live, right?
Hmm.
It's great. It's phenomenal. I
Yeah.
don't think that there's anything really quite like it, you know, in
Hmm.
the world. I think the music is that one unique thing that I don't think anything else can ever really truly replicate.
Yeah. Um, and like talking about like the let's talk about the actual set list. So yeah, they like you talked about, they came out with a plane to so actually hold on, let's before that. So they started
You can guess what the plane is for, right? If you know
yeah.
Iron Maiden.
So they started out with a tape, which was UFO Doctor Doctor, which even that everyone knew in the crowd and was just singing along, which was great. And then
Yeah.
they went into the Churchill speech, and then from that they went into Ace of Spades, and they had a fucking plane.
You mean Ace is High?
Ace is High, yeah, sorry. Wow.
Ace of Spades. It's another great band. Never saw them
Yeah,
live though.
I have. It was great, but not the point right now. Um, no, but yeah, Ace is High. Sorry, and but talk. I mean, and they just came out going and just going hard, and it was just awesome. It was just like they had a plane flying around, and Bruce Dickinson is flying around the stage, and it was amazing. And
Mhm.
then um, trying to remember every song they played. Uh,
All just sort of blends together. It was such a
yeah.
masterfully crafted set list that you know each individual song when it happens. Like from the first fucking note, you know, you can tell what song this is, right? but it flowed together so well that it went fast. Like it was fast. Like we were listening
Mm,
to them from like 8:50-ish, right, to after 11 o'clock, right? So it was a
mm,
long set list, but it went by like that. Like
yeah,
it was fast. Like there was no downtime in between songs, right? Much to
yeah,
my stomach's chagrin for the very beginning of that.
yeah.
I my stomach did kind of explode during it. What was the song that was playing when I had to leave real quick?
It might have been Sign of the Cross.
I think it was Sign of the Cross because
Yeah,
yeah, because they had the big light up cross on stage. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, I had to leave for a minute, and oh my god, I was pissed, and I ran right back from the toilet to
yeah.
come see Iron Maiden because for whatever goddamn reason,
Oh yeah.
inside of the VIP special seating toilets, right? They were playing a goddamn AM radio sports commentary loud enough so that I couldn't hear the music outside. And when you're at a heavy metal concert, it has to be pretty loud for you to not hear the music playing outside. Nope, they were blasting AM radio sports commentary for some game. I don't even fucking know what they were listening to. I
Yeah.
was mad. I was mad and I was in pain, and then I came back out, and the entire rest of my worldly woes melted away. It
Yeah.
was beautiful.
But all right, so let me think here. I know they played Aces High, Sign of the Cross, for the greater good of God. Um, Number of the Beast, Fear of the Dark, Klansman,
The Trooper!
The Trooper, uh, Flight of uh, Flight of Icarus, On the Wings of
The
Eagles,
Fire.
or no, where Eagles Dare. Um, On the Wings of Eagles is a Monowar song off
Yeah.
their new album, which we'll talk about later. Um, well, yeah, so we're Eagles Dare, Flight of Icarus,
The Wicker Man.
The Wicker Men, Fear of the Dark, Number of the Beast. No, I'm repeating a couple of these now, but so the fucking original, like the main set list was amazing, and and they finished it off with Iron Maiden, that like in the main set list. So they did their like usual like okay good night whatever, and then Bruce of course because he knows he's coming back out. It's like we'll see you later if you know what I mean. Because
Yeah.
everyone knows there's going to be an encore. Everyone knows there's going to be at least a couple more songs. So they
There was
leave.
one thing that I noticed. One thing that I noticed, speaking of
Okay.
people leaving during encores, right? Which I don't know if we mentioned that already, but
Oh,
it
we
really
haven't.
pisses us off.
Mm-hmm.
Pisses us off when people leave during encores because, yeah, I think I mentioned that already. But nobody fucking moved. When he walked off the stage, nobody even shifted from their current position because they were just like, yep,
Yep.
yep, there's another one coming.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to get out of here early because we're not missing this shit. And it's
Yeah.
a good thing they didn't because their encore was phenomenal. They did Run to the Hills was their final song,
Yeah.
which was a great final song because after that we did all Run to the Hills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think.
Hallowed Be Thy Name
Mm-hmm.
was another one during the encore. There was one other. Um,
The Evil That Men Do. I think it was.
yeah, but I
So.
was really happy they played Hallowed Be Thy Name.
Oh God. And
So
it was.
that's my favorite Maiden song.
Yeah.
So like, oh, so good,
And
so
they
good.
and they came out and like so they started the song and everyone's like again like some like exactly like Fear of the Dark. It's like everyone starts singing it like and everyone knows the words to the intro and even probably the whole song. But I mean, they start going like the whole in crowd gets and that and that's actually one thing I want to say is that is one of the loudest crowds I've ever been a part of. Like usually like when I've been gone to concerts, the loudest thing I hear is the music
Mhm.
at times, and which is hard to do at times. The loudest thing I heard was the crowd last night, absolutely going ballistic,
Yep.
and that's never happened before, and it was amazing. Um, I cannot say enough good things about this concert, and I really wish we were still there. I really wish there was, you know,
I
you know,
joked when I came home and I hopped on voice chat with with the guys, you know.
Hmm.
I was like, oh yeah, Iron Maiden was pretty good. Anyways, they're gonna be in Minneapolis next like Monday, so I'm gonna go to Minneapolis on Monday.
Yeah.
They were like, oh really? And I was like, yeah. I'm gonna drive over to Minneapolis. I think it'll be worth it. It's a good investment. I'm gonna get cheap
Hmm.
lawn seats. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. It was. I mean, it was just so good. Like I said, I really wish we were still there. I wish the concert was still going, but it's got to come to an end. And I mean, I think next time we're definitely going to be, there will definitely be a next time, and there'll definitely be, we're definitely going to try and get better seats.
Oh yeah, it's worth because the seats aren't super cheap. They weren't as expensive as I thought they would be, but um, it'd definitely be worth it to shell out some extra cash to get better
Hmm.
seats because you don't want to miss a part of that, you know.
Yeah.
And the seats we had were pretty good. I mean, we had like a lounge seating area there at the Ruhoff Home Mortgage Center, which is the most metal name in the history of mankind. Um, at Ruhoff Home Mortgage Center, there's like a lounge where they have like their own little bar and you can get drinks and stuff. And
Hmm.
by the way, for any of you beer drinkers out there, the Iron Maiden beer was pretty solid.
Hmm.
It was a lower ABV beer from considering how bitter it was. I expected it to be higher, but it had nice mocha hints to it. I think I really got from that. You know, there were some coffee hints in there. The can said malt taste, so I assume that's what that is. But it was pretty easy to drink and pretty tasty. I would definitely drink Iron Maiden beer again. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
I give the lukewarm Blue Moon that I had a 6
Oh,
out of 10 because it was damn near warm when she handed it to me.
yeah. That's never good.
No.
If you wanted to.
Concert stuff is expensive and I don't like it. I spent
Hmm.
$20 for some goddamn chicken fingers, fries, and a Coke, right? Because I was starving to death and it was not worth it.
Yeah.
It was not worth it. But they do that. They capitalize on the profits because they know people's inhibitions are lowered at concerts, you know? Because you're having a great time, you might have been drinking a little bit, you know? So it's like,
Hmm.
you know, the real existential human feeling takes over and it's like, this is just a piece of paper in my pocket with a dead president on it. If I hand it to her, I can have some chicken fingers. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter how much this is worth comparatively. I just want chicken fingers because I'm seeing Iron fucking Maiden and I'm hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And those
was.
chicken fingers may or may not have led to my bowel issue, so
uh.
twofold bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
John was smart though. John did not get any food during the concert.
Hmm. Although I did buy the two troopers for us, but for the record,
Yes,
they did.
yes, he did buy the beers.
Yeah. Um. I bought the troopers, which they came. Each one came with a cup, like a trooper cup, so it has like the logo on it, and then also with a pin, Iron Maiden pin. It's got the little trooper logo on it, so that's pretty cool.
Merchandising.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, the seats were great. Got a great view. I mean, I can't say enough good things about this concert, man.
Yeah, good
Um,
shit. Good shit. I was really pleased with that.
yeah, and I mean, like, so like during like Flight of Icarus, uh, Bruce Dickinson brought out flamethrowers, and he was just, I'm just gonna shoot flames everywhere because I can.
Yep.
Who does that?
You got a panorama picture of the crowd that I think is freaking fantastic.
Yeah,
And I think if you were so inclined, you should try and splice that into this video in post production in some way
yeah, I can try and do that.
so people can see just how monumental it looked from
Mm-hmm.
sitting in that amphitheater. Because I think that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah. Excellent concert.
yeah, it was great.
But I think that's all I have to say about that.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I think we're gonna shoot for probably about an hour long videos or hour long
Mm,
podcasts. So, um, if we go over by a little bit, that's fine. We got about
yeah,
10
we got
minutes.
a little bit of time.
Yeah, we got about 10 minutes. We can talk about albums. So
Yeah.
these.
So actually, before we talk about albums, I
Mm-hmm.
was considering maybe we give a precursor to the next video, and then we could save the albums for a later time.
Yeah, because I mean, we could also save the albums for
Because
probably like the end of the year.
y'all want to hear what John has to say about Amon Amarth's Berserker album.
Uh huh.
Because Lord knows I've heard it a few times.
Yeah, and it's probably about a 10 minute long rant as it is. So.
For just that one album. We have many albums we want to talk about. We want to talk about Berserker. We want to talk about Ramstein. We want to talk about what was the band that you really like?
Uh,
Um,
Tier.
Tyr. Yeah, Tyr released
Uh,
a new album. Sabaton released a new album. Devin Townsend released a new album. Right.
hmm
So we've got a lot of topics to cover there.
Yeah, and also we got we also have um, Tool has a new album coming out soon. So maybe we'll say well
Oh
maybe
yeah.
maybe we'll if we don't have a week to talk about something or whatever, we'll save it till then. But
Oh yeah. And I've got to give that one a good long hard listen.
hmm
While I'm playing da 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 classic World of Warcraft. It's gonna be like 2005 all over again. I'm gonna put on some Tool. I'm gonna play World of Warcraft. I'm gonna grind. It's gonna be great, and that will be what our next podcast will be about.
hmm
So if you guys are interested in video games as well as heavy metal music, and most metalheads are, tune in for that one because we're going to be going into it. Because I am a classic fanatic proponent of the classic idea, whereas John, for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe he was dropped on his head or something, believes that retail has more to offer. So we'll get into that.
All right, hold on. Before we even I'm not even going to wait till next week for this. Just
Oh
for
boy, here we go.
I want to add a little because we got 8 minutes. We can talk
Oh
about
yeah,
this a
we
little
can
bit.
talk about this. Let's do this.
All right, my okay. Let me. The way Tony put it, it makes my position sound pretty bad. But let me explain my positioning. For the casual gamer experience, retail WoW is better, and I will explain.
Did you just say casual gamer? Isn't that an oxymoron?
Don't start with me, bro. Don't start with me. All right. So here's the thing. Because I like to see all of the games. Now, even in current WoW, you're not going to see everything. But I like to see like at least the raids because the raids are actually part of the story. It's part of the main like story of it. So, you know, back in classic WoW, back in vanilla, it's like not everyone got there. Not everyone got to see it. So that's a big disappointment to me. And now I might get to see that in classic WoW, if depending on how hard I try and how hard I want to actually play. But that's the thing is like I have to actually try. I actually have to, like I mean, I have to try on stuff I do now, but I mean, I have to actually like put in a lot of time and effort that I might not have. I got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. I can't necessarily, you know, give 12 hours a week to raiding and doing stuff and whatever for classic. But what I can do as a casual, as a, part-time gamer is go do LFR, go do some PvP battlegrounds, and do some dungeons, mythic dungeons with lurking for group. My point is not that retail WoW, current WoW is a better game. I just think it offers more to people like me who are time constricted, very time constricted, to have access to the full game and not be locked behind hours and hours of grinding. But
I understand.
again,
You are
like,
entitled to your opinion, however incorrect it may be.
but what I will say is I do not think retail WoW is better than classic WoW as a game. I do think I think it could be like retail WoW could be a little bit harder, like on a base level, even for casual gamers. I think it could be quite a bit harder,
hmm
especially LFR. But the problem is,
So I agree with most of your points there, right? That
hmm
retail is better for the casual gamer to get more of that gratification and see more of the game. I will definitely have my PowerPoint slides ready, my bullet pointed arguments for as to why casuals can enjoy classic just as much as retail, if not
mm,
much more, because there is something to strive toward. I think that many casual players of retail World of Warcraft do end up seeing everything, right?
hmm
Which means that they stop playing after a couple of months, you know. Now, whether or not it's a good or bad thing to have to play the game for months and months in order to see all of what it has to offer,
hmm
that can be a separate argument, right? I think it's a good thing because you don't have to play for 8 hours a day and total neckbeard your way to play for like a year, you know, over
hmm
time and still have something you're working towards, you know, for this one game to totally encapsulate the imaginations and minds of millions of people. I think that there really needs to be a goal to aspire towards. There's no aspirations in current WoW. The most aspiration you get is a bigger number at the end of the game, right? Because you might think that the tier sets look cool, but there's a
hmm
lot less of them now because they decided to do away with the class sets and now it's just the armor set, the armor type bonus from the end game, right?
hmm
Most of the time they look like garbage. Like I remember when I saw the plate set for the first raid in Battle for Azeroth, I was like,
Yeah, it's pretty
"You
shite.
joking, mate? What are you
Yeah.
joking, mate? What's that? You look like a fucking sad Power Ranger, mate." Like it was bad,
Yeah.
right? So if you want to do that, that's fine. I mean, that's okay if that's what you want to do because a classic subscription will get you both games. So if you want to do one and you don't want to do the other, that's totally cool. If you want to switch between them,
hmm
that's cool too. But classic wouldn't be a thing if retail was still good. I
Fair
just
enough.
don't think that it's a good game. I don't think
hmm
it's good for casual players because they burn out really quickly on it because it's really, really monotonous, right?
hmm
There's grinding in Classic WoW, don't get me wrong, but it's not monotonous because there's a big community and social aspect around it. There's goals and aspirations to strive towards. Every upgrade feels meaningful in some way or another. I could get into it and I will next time
hmm
around. So it's better for casuals. It's better for the hardcore. I don't think anybody can make the argument that it is worse for hardcore players. I mean,
No, by
there's
yeah.
one argument that you could make is that the designs of the raid encounters have been better tuned and way more interesting in current WoW, which I will give you.
hmm
But the rewards that you get from them are lackluster. It does not justify the extra effort required to complete that content,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I don't think it's worth it. But, we can get into that next time. We
hmm
both have fair arguments to make, I believe. Obviously, I'm the one who's right in my mind, but
Well, like I
I
think
mean, you'll be able to let us know.
I think
It'll
for
be a
the
good time.
yeah, I think for the most part eh, I don't disagree with you on a lot of stuff, but it's just I think but there's also other things that I think in retail WoW that are just like also nice to have. I think a big one is um
There's a lot of quality of life, but
yeah.
a lot of those things take the RP out of the RPG.
Mhm.
Some of them
Well,
don't, but some of them do.
yeah. I
One
don't
thing I would like is a barber shop in Classic WoW. That
mhm.
would be cool because my character can get a haircut once every couple of years, right? That doesn't seem to not make sense. That's a fair role playing thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of other things that people consider quality of life that I consider not quality of life, like weapon skill, mounts being items instead of just part of a collection, things being account wide across all of your characters. Like a lot of those things, I feel like a lot of people think are quality of life, but they're not. They're just taking a lot of the role playing out of the role playing game. Your character
Mm-hmm.
becomes less of a character and more of a skin,
Yeah.
which I think is a big loss for the game.
Now, see, I would be happy with if they kind of split the way they have mounts right now, because I have so many mounts and I would love to keep them all, but I do kind of miss the having to click on a mount as far as like having an actual item,
Hmm.
because it's a little bit more personal. But the problem is, when you get 200 something mounts, you can't carry all those. Um, or
But I
it's
think part of the problem there
oh,
is the inflation. Okay, I'll let you talk. I'll let you talk.
okay.
Sorry.
No, but well, um, sorry, you'll probably get into like how many like actual fucking mounts there are, and it gets crazy and whatever. But I think if they were to add, instead of having like a tab that you carry on your character all the times, like having another bank tab, I feel like that's a reasonable thing. And and that's kind of like an RP thing, like or like
A
have a
stable.
have a location in World of Warcraft that you have to go and check out your pet or check out your mounts, you know. But all right, so that's it.
They almost had a stable in Warlords of Draenor, like an actual stable where you could put all your mounts and you could see them
Mm-hmm.
running around. But that never came to fruition. Fuck
Yeah.
Warlords of Draenor and fuck retail WoW. But I love all of you people out there who sat through this entire podcast. You're all
Yeah.
great. I love you.
um. Yeah. So that we are at that hour mark. Do you have? All right. So yeah. Again, I think the majority of the next episode will be about Classic WoW, what our first week experience have been. Because as of 6 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow, we will be playing WoW Classic, or at
We
least
will be
trying to
playing the
log.
login screen.
Yeah. Or at least trying to log in. So yeah, I think yeah, next week will be about World of Warcraft Classic. Maybe in a couple weeks, who knows? I know, like, actually, I kind of wanted to do talk. I did want to talk about it this week because it happened this week, but maybe I'll save it for next week. Is the Spider-Man, Sony, and Marvel deal going on? That's a pretty big thing because I think I'm a big, I'm a big Marvel Cinematic Universe fan. I love the Marvel Universe, so it's kind of a big deal for me. Um, I think
Yeah.
quick spoiler, I take Sony's side as far as business wise, but as a fan, I'm disappointed because he's no longer there. He's never longer going to be part of it. But I don't want to take too much more time. I know we're already at that hour mark, but
No, I agree with you. I think it'd be a short aside for a later time.
yeah.
That's all I have to say about that, though.
All right.
So,
Well,
with that, I will leave you, beautiful people. I'll see you all next time.
all right. This is the Basement Grown Fun guys signing off.